If you're getting ready to harvest your soybeans, one of the most important things we want you to think about is what is your ideal harvest moisture. Now, most people are going to say 13%. Well, that's great, but you probably only have a very narrow window to harvest 13% moisture beans. So today we're going to talk about harvesting wet beans versus harvesting excessively dry soybeans.
Well, fortunately, Brian, everybody's got some experience with both extremes because you start off when it's a little wet, and if you get that hot, sunny, breezy day, by the time you're done with the field, it's dry. It changes really quick out in the field. So what you want to have is more flexibility to what you're doing. Now, when you've got dry soybeans, you've got a huge economic loss. This is something that we've approached many times on our show, talking about not only did you lose when you dropped down to 8% moisture beans, you lost from 13% that the elevator would take with no docks down to 8%. That's a 5% loss that you could have sold. You also lose the shrink on that because your soybeans actually shrink up a little bit, and by the time you get those beans to the elevator, you typically have a 1.5% loss for each 1% of moisture that you didn't harvest. So if you lost 5% in moisture, you probably lost 7.5% on yield, and that is a killer.
So Darren mentioned 7.5% yield loss. That's huge. I think about our farm. If I'm going to get 70 bushel beans, I'm hoping I can sell them for $10 an acre. That's $700. That means $50 an acre in loss. $50. Well, we don't want to lose that much money, so obviously every farmer out there wants to have wetter soybeans. Well, here's the whole thing. If you say, well, boy, I don't want to go harvest 14% moisture beans because if I bring those to the elevator, I'll take a little bit of a dock. Well, how much is the elevator going to dock you? It's not $50 an acre. My point is this, start running the math. You'll quickly find that 14 or 15% moisture beans are way better to bring to the elevator than 8% moisture beans. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to look at the settlement sheet you get and you're going to see a dock on the 14 or 15% moisture beans. When you get the 8% moisture beans, you won't see any dock. But it's hidden yield loss, and that's the whole thing. You've got to make sure that anybody understanding this, anybody looking at the numbers on your farm knows, hey, we absolutely have to make sure we are maximizing the amount of bushels we bring to town, which means we need those beans around 13%.
Well, the great thing is if you're going to harvest beans a little bit wetter, you can get started earlier. You've got more hours available to be able to run a combine. If you say, I've got to have soybeans less than 13% in the field, your hours of operation go way down. And I don't care where you're at. If you get a little bit of dew in the morning, you're generally waiting till noon to be able to start on those soybeans. Well, if you're harvesting them a little bit wetter, you can get going earlier in the day. So that really helps you out as well. Now, the other thing, Brian, is shatter loss. As we see those beans get really dry, we just flat lose beans in the field or we lose beans at the header. And again, here's something that you don't see show up at the elevator and, oh, we lost this much. You see it laying all over the ground out in your field. I hear farmers all across the country complaining, our soybean price just isn't good enough. In fact, I'm looking for another crop to raise. Hey, there is money to be made in soybeans. We just can't leave bushels literally laying out there in the field.
All right, here's what we want you to consider. Bin fan controls. It's only going to cost you a few $100s per grain bin that you have. And now you can have those fans turn on and turn off depending on what your outside temperature is and humidity. And if you simply have the fan running at the right time, shut off at what we'll call the wrong times, then you can very quickly move your grain moisture down from 17 or 15 down to 13. You actually can pump moisture back into that grain too, just simply by putting air on the grain. This is a really big deal. It's something we started doing on our farm probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I'll just give you the example of the fall of 2018. Well, most people were sitting because the beans were too wet. They were 15, 16, 18% moisture. We were harvesting. So this allowed us to get done way faster so we could get a lot of our fall field work done where a lot of other people were sitting. The other thing it did is it allowed us to have the beans right at 13%. So they were able to store properly. We were able to maximize the amount of bushels that we hauled to the elevator, and we could maximize our profitability because we didn't have to take docks at the elevator as well.
If you're raising soybeans this year, there is still time. for you to make some changes on your farm. So consider bin fan controls and take a look, just run the economics about harvesting soybeans just a little bit wetter this year. We think it'll put money in your pocket each and every year.
Well, another thing that puts money into your pocket each and every year is having great weed control. We'll show you how to stop this week's weed coming up later in the show.